It's getting very interesting and very lively. In this video, I want us to listen to that elder from Turkana who has shown some serious love for Raila Odinga. Before we listen to the man, let me say this. Yesterday, Kenya officially launched Raila Odinga's AUC bid, meaning Raila Odinga is now officially Kenya's candidate for the AUC. Let's have a look at the candidates gunning for that post. We have Raila Odinga of Kenya, Mohamud Ali Yusuf of Djibouti, we have Anil Guyan of Mauritius, Richard Randriamandrato of Madagascar. My big question is, these four candidates, which candidate do you think is known in Africa without even campaigning? Which candidate is known even without campaigning? Who knows this Mohamud Ali Yusuf of Djibouti? Who knows this Anil Guyan from Mauritius? Who knows this Richard from Madagascar? Without taking sides, Raila Odinga is the most known candidate out of all these candidates gunning for the AUC. Raila does not need to introduce himself to Africa, but these candidates, they have to do a lot of work even to be known to some of these African leaders. So on that front, Raila Odinga has a head start. And in terms of positions they've held before, Raila Odinga has held a senior position more than all these other candidates. Raila has been Kenya's prime minister. All these other candidates, what they have held before is post as foreign ministers. In fact, two are former foreign affairs ministers in their countries. Djibouti's candidate is the current foreign affairs minister in Djibouti. And that's a position he has held for about 20 years now. So in terms of a leader who has held a senior position, Raila Odinga comes on top. He has been Kenya's prime minister. Besides that, Raila Odinga has also been AU special envoy on infrastructure. So he's a person who is known to AU. He has worked for AU. These other candidates have never held any position or worked for AU. On that front again, Raila has a head start. And then if you look at the countries that have endorsed these candidates, Raila has so far been endorsed by 20 countries, Muhammad Ali Yusuf of Djibouti 2 countries, Anil Guyan of Mauritius 1 country, Richard of Madagascar 1 country. So in terms of endorsement again, Raila has been endorsed by more countries than any of these other candidates. And if you look at the countries endorsing Raila Odinga, they cut across board. The Southern Bloc, Eastern Bloc, Western Bloc, Northern Bloc, these blocks are all endorsing Raila Odinga. If you look at it in terms of Anglophone, Francophone, they are equally endorsing Raila Odinga across board. So the issue of blocks or the issue of Anglophone or Francophone or Arabic might not come into play. On that front again, Raila is clearly ahead of these other candidates. So if those are the parameters that will be looked into, then I won't be wrong to say that most of these candidates, maybe by next year, they will have all stepped out of this race. We might have only Raila Odinga as a single candidate for that seat. I don't see these as serious candidates to actually scare Raila Odinga. If there were serious candidates, maybe the likes of Jakaya Kikwete, Uhuru Kenyatta, all these former heads of state who have got connections in Africa, that could have been a threat, but not these ones. These ones cannot be a threat. And if they can be a threat to Raila Odinga, then something is seriously wrong with Raila Odinga. And then now, assuming Raila Odinga goes on to lose that seat, which I know is somehow almost impossible, what should Kenyans expect? Before we answer that question, let's listen to this elder from Turkana.
Nasema tu Mungu ameomba mbele ya Raila apate hiyo kiti. Hiyo kiti Raila akipata, najua matunda itajaa. Afrika yote atapata matunda na maendeleo. Baba sio mtu mchoyo. Atagawa kila mtoto, anajua vile atagawa mtoto kila mtoto mkate yake. Baba Mwenyezi Mungu, wewe peleka Raila pale anaenda kupata kazi. Wewe Baba simama na yeye, sababu yeye Baba ni wetu. Yule alikuwa anachunga nyumba hii, kama ameenda kuomba kazi nyingine. Baba msaidie, weka nguvu yako, tangulia ndio apate kufanya sisi watu wa Afrika tuwe watu wa manufaa kuliko mzungu kutawala sisi. Baba patia Raila wakati akupika kura, Baba apate kura mingi kuliko wale wafuasi yake, kwa sababu nimesema kama chama ya kaunti hii, maombi ya Waturkana yote nimepewa niombee Baba. Vile hata Baba ameenda, Baba aende na baraka, Baba aende na mafanikio. Nimeomba hiyo kwa jina la Yesu Kristo, ndiye mwokozi wetu. Jina la Baba na Mwana na Roho Mtakatifu.
That appears to me as a random video that was just taken on the streets. And that can tell you the feel in Turkana over Raila Odinga's candidature. The ground supports Raila Odinga. And that now brings me to the big question: what should Kenyans expect in the event Raila Odinga loses that seat, which again is very unlikely? Should Raila Odinga lose that seat, then it means he'll come back to Kenya to be politically active. And being politically active would mean Raila will contest for the presidency in 2027, or he can decide to support somebody else. And in the event Raila Odinga contests for the presidency in 2027, then I'm seeing a very high possibility where Raila Odinga's traditional support basis will still support him majority vote. If Raila Odinga will offer his candidature in 2027, most areas that have been supporting him will still support him. They will vote for him. And in the event he decides to support somebody else, assuming that politics don't change, assuming that the status quo remains as it is, then in the event Raila decides to support somebody else, that person will be William Ruto. And William Ruto will have no option but to have Raila Odinga as his running mate in 2027. Thus, in the unlikely event that Raila Odinga decides to support Ruto, Ruto will have no option but have Raila Odinga as his running mate. But again, with that combination, Raila Odinga supporters will still support the candidate he will be supporting in 2027. So Kenyans should expect that. And now, what is needed for one to win the AUC post? Africa has about 54 countries. For you to win that post, you need 2/3 of the votes. 2/3 of 54, that's 36. 36. So Raila needs 36 countries to support his bid. In the event all countries will vote, So far, Raila has over 20. He needs roughly about 15 in the event all countries vote. We are being told that about 6 countries have been disqualified because of some issues such as course. That leaves us with 48 countries. 2/3 of 48 countries, that's 32. If that's the case, then Raila Odinga needs about 10 countries to endorse him, 10 or even less. So this is a race that if things remain the same, if everything is constant, then this is a landslide win, ladies and gentlemen. Let me stop it there. If you are watching us but you have not yet subscribed, subscribe, give the video a like. Any person watching us outside Kenya, drop a comment, let us know from which part of the globe you are watching us from. If possible, subscribe, give the video a like. Thank you. God bless you. God bless Kenya.